Cheney is Dick Cheney's daughter and the chairwoman of the Institute for the Study of War. And Liz, good morning to you. We asked for your father.
Good morning,
That didn't quite work out, but it's nice to see you, especially on President's Day. I want to pick up on what Joe Biden said there at the end. They, meaning Al-Qaeda, are in fact not able to do anything remotely like they were in the past. I'm assuming that's a reference to 9/11. Is that what the intelligence community in Washington is saying?
Well, I think you heard the debate yesterday. I think that there's a very strong concern that still remains that Al-Qaeda is working very hard to try to obtain weapons of mass destruction, and Al-Qaeda armed with any kind of a nuclear or biological weapon is clearly one of the gravest threats we face. And the notion that this White House and this administration is minimizing that possibility makes you very concerned, I think has to make us concerned about whether or not they're actually doing everything in their power to prevent it, to keep the nation safe.
And Joe Biden's making the point that your father, Dick Cheney, is not giving the current administration enough credit. He says they've gone out and they've killed enough Al-Qaeda leaders, or many Al-Qaeda leaders, Taliban leaders. Does he have a point that the war on terror, as it is today in Afghanistan and across the border in Pakistan, is still as heated, if not more, than it was under the previous administration?
Well, Vice President Biden has a famously tenuous relationship to reality, frankly. I think there's no question but that the increase of troops into Afghanistan was the right decision. I think President Obama did the right thing. I think he should not have put July 2011 as some kind of an end date for that. And I think it's important for the American people to realize that we currently have no detention policy. So if we capture a senior Al-Qaeda leader, we have no place, according to the New York Times yesterday, where we could hold that person, nor do we have an effective interrogation policy. The president stopped the enhanced interrogation policy that the Bush administration pursued a year ago, and in that time has failed to establish, until the paperwork was signed apparently last week, anything to replace it. So there's simply no way you can say that the president is using every tool at his disposal to fight and win this war without being able to get the intelligence that you need actually to defeat Al-Qaeda.
Would you concede that they've killed leaders effectively as related to Al-Qaeda and the Taliban?
I think that is the case. I think that the drone program, if you believe the news reports you're seeing, that we have been able to reach out and kill Al-Qaeda leaders. That's a program that was started in the Bush administration. It's important to kill Al-Qaeda leaders, obviously, but it's also important to capture them, because when you capture them, you can interrogate them, you can find out what they know, what the networks are. You can't win the war simply by killing the leadership. You've also got to be able to capture and interrogate, which is something we are not currently doing.
There is more from Joe Biden. This on the Christmas Day body bomber. Roll this and I'll get you to react.
He's not entitled to his own facts. The Christmas Day bomber was treated the exact way that he suggested that the shoe bomber, absolutely the same way. Under the Bush administration, there were 3 trials in military courts. 2 of those people are now walking the streets. They are free.
So 9 years ago, December 22nd, 2001, Richard Reed's the shoe bomber. He was Mirandized. Is Joe Biden on point with that?
When Richard Reed was captured, we did not yet have the military commissions up and running. There wasn't the option at that point to put him into a military commission. And I think what the administration is trying to do here is divert people's attention from what happened on Christmas Day, which is that we took the terrorist off the plane. He was questioned by local FBI officials with no information about Al-Qaeda in Yemen, about what the National Security Agency knew, for 50 minutes, less than an hour, at which point he was read his Miranda rights and he stopped talking for 5 weeks. I think you'd be hard-pressed to find any American, Democrat or Republican, except for Joe Biden, who thinks that that was an appropriate way to handle a terrorist.
You know,
so
Liz,
it's not surprising they're trying to divert attention.
When I was watching and listening for this debate at home on Sunday morning, I was thinking, why is Dick Cheney taking back to this forum? You know, why is your father doing this? And it's clear to me now that he's doing it to force the debate, because it's got folks like us and every other channel talking about it. I mean, is that his objective, or is there more to it?
No, I think his objective is to make sure that this nation has in place the policies that will keep us safe. And I think, you know, as you heard him say, he became very concerned after the Bush administration left office when this administration began to unravel and dismantle those policies. If you look now at, you know, the decision by Attorney General Holder to bring Khalid Sheikh Mohammed to the United States and try him in civilian court, give him the rights of an American citizen, their efforts to close Guantanamo Bay, the lack of an interrogation policy, there are a whole range of things that this administration is doing that make us less safe,
Okay.
and I think that my dad has been very concerned about
I
this.
apologize for the interruption there. I'm almost out of time here, but you're part of a documentary about the surge in Iraq. I want to play just a quick clip of it. Ambassador Ryan Crocker, listen here, and we'll talk about it.
It wasn't just the additional forces we put in, it was the commitment that was behind those forces. And I think that is what really gave them the conviction that this was the time to make a stand, and they did.
There's a great trailer on a website that is part of this production here. Tell us about it.
UnderstandingTheSurge.org is a place where people can go to watch this tremendous documentary that's based on 50 hours of interviews with the officers who were involved in the surge. There were some claims made yesterday by Vice President Biden that the war in Iraq was, quote, not worth it, by General Jones that the surge was, quote, not a strategy, that are just flat wrong and that are inconsistent with the historical record. And if people want to know the truth, this is a great place where they can go to hear the officers, including General Odierno, General Petraeus, General Keane, and the colonels who were involved really in making the surge work. It was a tremendous success by our American soldiers. They deserve our gratitude and our thanks, and the American people ought to know the real history there. And frankly, I commend the website to the White House. I hope Vice President Biden and General Jones will take a look at it as well.
UnderstandingTheSurge.org. Liz Cheney, thank you for your time today on a Monday. Nice
Thanks,
to see you.
Bill. Good to be with you.